If you're anything like me, you may find it easy to determine who your favorite Pokemon are. But do you know who your least favorite Pokemon is? Today, I'm finally going to decide who my least favorite Pokemon is. I've gathered 30-something Pokemon that I don't vibe with, and I will rank them accordingly until I figure out who my singular least favorite Pokemon is, because it's important. The tiers are pretty self-explanatory. Up top we have I rescind my judgment. That is for if I decide that Pokemon on this list maybe actually doesn't deserve to be on this list. Next is you will never be on my team. That's for Pokemon that I don't necessarily hate, but it has no chance of ever actually being on my team. Next is stay far away from me. That I think will mostly be the kind of Pokemon that elicit an emotional reaction when I see them. And then there's 1 million years dungeon for the absolute bottom tier Pokemon. And You Are the Father is for the singular Pokemon that I decide in the end is my least favorite Pokemon. The reason why it's called You Are the Father is because in my experience and watching Mari in the past, that is the worst thing that you could tell someone. The first line that we have is the girder line. I'm calling it the girder line because that's the one whose name I remember. Girder, timber, whatever. So these to me are just like a classic too human and like bulging veins. That's absolutely disgusting. Backstory, I'm not a squeamish person whatsoever, but when it comes to veins specifically, they gross me out. Just like the idea of like, especially like when people have like veins that like bulge and like bubble. Timber and girder, I think I'm gonna say You Will Never Be on my team. They're not quite stay far away from me. Like I feel like I'm used to them at this point. Maybe when they first came out I was like, oh, whenever I would see them, like, oh, it makes me uncomfortable. But honestly, Conkeldurr, I think with Conkeldurr I rescind my judgment. I really enjoy how stanced up Conkeldurr is, and like he has these, he looks like he should be in like Dragon Quest or something, but I do like him holding these pillars. It adds something that I enjoy. Next up is Behem. I don't really know what that is. It supposed to be like beam? Apparently it's supposed to be a corruption of the abbreviation BEM, bug-eyed monster, and also it allegedly abducts Dubwool, so that brings it a notch down in my book. I think I will put it into... I don't know. It's just like, it's not that ugly to me, but something just doesn't work with it. Like the hand, the colors and the eyes and the like fancy button coat thing. I don't know what is going on. Something, it just doesn't quite work. I think I will put you on You Will Never Be on my team. Now, will Conkeldurr ever be on my team? Probably not. But I wouldn't tell Conkeldurr that it's never gonna be on my team. I think I'll rescind my judgment. You know why? Because it's a psychic type. I am a psychic type lover. It's also trying something. I don't know what it is, but it has a few different, I don't know, it's weird. So that, I guess that gives it 1 point. Oh my god. Okay, next up is Watchog. Watchog is like my natural predator, I think. I'm definitely gonna put that in stay far away from me. It just makes me so uncomfortable. It hasn't necessarily committed any crimes in my book. Like, it hasn't done anything to me, but it's going to do something to me. So absolutely stay far away from me. I do not want to see that thing. It activates my fight or flight response. Duraludon? That's like one of those Pokemon that you read, but like you've never said out loud, because why would you be talking about that? Duraludon, now the thing with Duraludon, let me put it down somewhere. I think You Will Never Be on my team. I don't necessarily want it to stay far away from me. It's just like, I don't know, it's dumb. The fact that it can like Gigantamax or whatever into like a famous bridge. Like a bridge. It goes from like a skyscraper kind of thing to a bridge. I didn't play the DLC, so I didn't know about this, but Duraludon evolves into a bridge, Archaludon, and it Gigantamaxes into a building called the Shard, which is also called Shard London Bridge. It's also a disappointing like iteration of the concept of being like a kaiju kind of thing. I don't know, it looks stupid. It looks like it can't even move also. It looks like it shouldn't be created. It looks like it was man-made and should not exist. So I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for it. But you'll never be on my team. So next up is Kyurem. Now Kyurem is one of those Pokemon that I feel like there's a lot of like legendary and like mythical kind of stuff where it feels kind of too complicated and I just don't like it. I don't know, Kyurem has just always had like a bad vibe for me. It also has the thing where it can like fuse, I don't even know. It can like fuse with Reshiram and Zekrom, like, I don't know if it's with them or if it's like with, I think it's with them. It's not with like parts of them or something. I don't know, it's just too complicated and it's very like of its generation in a bad way. If it wasn't a legendary, I think I would like it more. Like if you just isolate it and think of it like, oh, it's this ice dragon, it's this like savage looking ice dragon inside like an ice cave. Sure, like it's fine. But I think given that as a legendary, it intrinsically has all of this like potential hype around it, like plot relevance or whatever, it just drops the ball for me, and I don't like it being in that role. Is Raging Bull. Now I think initially this was like stay far away from me, right? But I think it's you will never be on my team. The main thing for me now looking at this again, because when it comes to the Paradox forms, like the Paradox Pokemon I haven't ingested very well into my brain because they're like the end of the Pokédex in the most recent game. But the thing that bothers me about Raging Bull in particular, as someone who's generally not really, I don't like any Paradox forms, I think. I like tolerate them. But Raging Bull, I think, has some kind of potential, like, color-wise. I think that could have been used in such a cooler design that, like, to make it this, or even if you just, like, only look at the body and not look at the neck and the head, it looks a lot more interesting. But for whatever reason, they decided to make this thing weird as hell. It looks like it should not look like that. It looks like an error. Next is Garbodor. Now Garbodor, I kind of put on this list because it's one of those Pokemon that a lot of people hate, and another one is like Vanillish, but I actually like the Vanillish line. Whereas Garbodor is kind of just like objectively unappealing looking. I'm trying to be nice here. The fact that it's like wearing, it looks like it's wearing the skin, like the face of a Trubbish who's been killed, and like that's how it evolved. It's kind of actually horrifying thinking of it that way. In real life, obviously it would be stay far away from me, but I don't think it's quite stay far away from me. That's another thing, like we've had a lot of time to process Garbodor and people have talked about it, but I think it will just never be on my team. It's not necessarily stay far away from me. Oh, we'll get to other stay far away from me though, and worse things. Next is Diggersby. I think this is Diggersby. Now Diggersby is one of those Pokemon that I don't like because it's like a man. It's just way too much of a man, like an adult man, a middle-aged grown man who works in construction nonetheless. And I think it shouldn't be so obvious that he works in construction. Now he works in construction with Watchog, and I think that's I don't even need to fact check that because that's just obvious looking at them. He's almost in stay far away from me territory, but I don't think he is. I think he will never be on my team though. He also evolved, like Bunnelby is cute, so that's kind of a shame. Next up is the Arctibax line. They are a pseudo-legendary, I'm pretty sure. So they're kind of like late game dragon type. Okay, so Frigibax, I think. Now the ironic part is that I actually did catch a Frigibax. I was hoping it would evolve into, so I played Scarlet and Violet like spoiler free. Like I didn't look at any of the Pokemon ahead of time. You know, it's the runt. Like you're hoping it will evolve into something that looks cooler. It looks dumb. It actually looks like some kind of like Super Mario World enemy. It will never be on my team again because I gave it a chance. Honestly, out of the three, I kind of like it, which is weird. It's weird to only like the middle evolution of an evolution chain, but it's interesting. It looks sufficiently like Jurassic Park-esque. I like what it's doing with the mouth. I like the like sai arm things and dorsal fin. And then there's Baxcalibur, who I think I want to stay far away from me. It makes me uncomfortable. It doesn't, it's an ugly one. Speaking of ugly ones that make me uncomfortable, oh my god, so I've got a few things here. The genies, the divisive genies. Now, I think at least one of these guys is going into 1 million years dungeon. I'm actually starting with, I think this one is my favorite. So, you know, it's easy to lump all the genies together, but I definitely would rank them differently, and we're also going to talk about their, like, other forms, their... there's so many forms nowadays. So starting with, I think this is Thundurus. Thundurus, I'm actually going to rescind my judgment. I do like Thundurus as a standalone. Its siblings, I think, are a lot worse. But if Thundurus, it's another thing that looks like it should be in Dragon Quest, to be honest. But I do kind of like Thundurus. I can forgive it. I generally don't like Pokemon that look too human. But I think that Thundurus is like cohesive enough that it is fine. And then we get to, okay, I looked up the other form names. They're called Therian forms. I don't know. But the Therian form of Thundurus, like, bro. Now I get what they're going for. I get what all this is going for. It's like mythological, like gods transforming into animals, but it's too much man, not enough animal. That said, I think the Therian Thundurus isn't as bad as the other two, so I'm gonna put it in stay far away from me. Next up is Tornadus. Tornadus also looks like a Dragon Quest boss, I have to say. You're going in the dungeon. I just hate these guys. I hate these guys. Which is crazy that I'm giving Landorus a pass, or Thundurus a pass, but I just specifically Tornadus, specifically Tornadus and Landorus make me angry. I just hate, like, that's a Pokemon actually, but the Therian form, oh my god, this thing is hideous. And now the thing is, with human, I'm not totally opposed to like Pokemon that look kind of human-like, but you're telling me you're gonna like catch that? You're gonna catch that man? You're gonna catch them all? Something is just terrible. Something is wrong with this. And the Therian form of Tornadus is maybe the ugliest Pokemon in the entire game, which makes me, it makes me want to shield my eyes. And then we have Landorus. I think Landorus is 1 million years dungeon. What is the hair style, and also like the tails? I think the big thing that helps me with Thundurus is his tail, whereas with Tornadus and Landorus, like the tail detracts from the design somehow. And then the Therian form, oh my god, it's the expression. Like, you're gonna catch that? you're gonna catch that thing that looks at you like this. Next up is Sock and Throw. Obviously, we're gonna treat them as a pair. The thing with Sock and Throw for me, and I'm gonna put them in You Will Never Be on my team because that's just factual. With Sock and Throw, it's like we've already done this before, but better. We've already had like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchop, and the other like humanoid fighting type Pokemon that are just like people. But with Sock and Throw, like, I guess, sure, they have the like red Oni, blue Oni motif thing going on, sort of, maybe. But other than that, it's just like, and the fact that they're wearing like full human clothes. Like a lot of Pokemon have nods to human clothes, or like sort of, you can give them a pass and maybe assume that like the human clothes were inspired by the Pokemon's clothes, but with Sock and Throw, it's like, no, they're just full on wearing gis, and they're posed like full on humans, and they just have nothing interesting going on. Like one is red and one is blue, and we're supposed to be like, oh, sure. Not on my watch. Next is Quaxwell. Show me a move. And I feel like I have to put Quaxwell. I have to put it in Stay Far Away From Me. So fun fact about Quaxwell. Quaxwell is the first starter Pokemon that I've ever benched, like on my first run in a Pokemon game. As soon as my Quaxley evolved, like I said, I went into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet without looking at any of the Pokemon, maybe like a few of the Pokemon, but looking at the Pokemon in general before including the starter evolutions, because I just loved Quaxley so much. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting Quaxley no matter what. And then it evolved into Quaxwell. I always want to say like Quaxilium or like Quaxwilliam. We might as well just call him William. William. It evolved into William, and I think my jaw just like dropped. I was like, this is, I've seen like, we know about middle evolution syndrome for the starters, but like this is the worst middle evolution syndrome I've ever seen in my entire life. William is just, he's just not someone that you want around you. He's icky. So next up is Grumpig. Now Grumpig, so comparing Grumpig to all of the other things that I'm looking at right here, it's definitely going to be an I rescind my judgment. It's just one of those things. Grumpig is one of the Pokemon that I thought of like historically, just Pokemon that I don't really like. There's something wrong with it. There's something off. I think especially because Spoink is so beloved by the community. But the thing with Grumpig, there's something scary about it. Like it will show up in your house at night and just like give you that little side-eye smirk. I thought I was gonna get eaten! Now the thing with Grumpig is I think it's called the manipulation Pokemon, or like the manipulative Pokemon or something, so that gets at a point in my book. I think that like means it's supposed to be a little sinister, so like sure. It also reminds me a lot of like Ganon. I don't know. Grumpig was just like such a weird direction. Like a really weird direction. It reminds me of like Licky Licky a bit, for the same reason, especially now that we have seen the like beta design for Licky Licky, which makes a lot more sense than the actual design for Licky Licky. Speaking of pigs, next is Oinkologne. I think I'm gonna put Oinkologne in Stay Far Away From Me. And this was another Pokemon I obviously caught Lechonk. Like, what do I look like? Someone who doesn't catch Lechonk. And then it evolved and I was like, I don't really like what's going on here. It's really weird to me looking at these like the long eyelash having like salacious hogs looking at with their perfume. Like, yeah, it's supposed to like evoke like French maidens or some shit. But I really don't like, I can't have a Pokemon on my team that looks at me like that. It's just like has that expression in battle that's just so bizarre. So Stay Far Away From Me. And next up is Regieleki. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Actually, we'll do Regieleki, and I'll do another Reggie next. But Regieleki, now the thing that I don't like about these like new Reggies that were released as part of DLC is that they don't look like imposing. Like, for anyone who was there for the original Reggies in Gen 3 when it first came out, like the Reggies were special. They were like locked, you know, behind this puzzle. This was before we always had constant information and knew everything, before you had to like solve things yourself or whatever. But so they were like ominous and powerful seeming. I don't even know how like viable they are competitively or anything, but they have this like special kind of like mythology that you kind of lived in. And then I don't know about plot wise or anything, but like visually, aura wise, Regieleki I think will never be on my team. I won't rescind my judgment. It's like, if it wasn't a Reggie, it's like an okay design, I think. If they like de-legendaried it and it was, if it looked like a normal line and it like had an evolution or something, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's an interesting design. But the fact that it's supposed to be a Reggie, like that's a Reggie, that just doesn't have Reggie vibes. The Reggies are like iconic. You're living up to a title. It's like a title that you have to have. And same thing with Reggie, like Draco or whatever it's called, Reggie Drake. I think you will never be on my team. It's not stay far away from me, it's just disappointing. It's so disappointing. It's like an orb inside of a big like dragon's mouth. Like the big dragon's mouth is kind of cool, but not for a Reggie. They're like distant cousins to the Reggie to me. They don't live up to the name. Now next up is Walking Wake. Now I think Walking Wake actually looks better with the like 2D art, but in terms of when I saw the 3D like moving thing, it's like tails wiggling, I was like, this is not right. Like, what did you do to Suicune? I don't think it quite deserves the dungeon, but I'm not a fan. And yeah, like of course it has like a little bit the elements that pulls from Suicune, obviously, like, you can't go wrong looking at all like Suicune, you know, like the color is beautiful, obviously. It's, I guess, an interesting dinosaurish stance maybe, but it's just like it's just not working. Okay, next, this annoying guy. Next up is Youngoos. Now Youngoos is going to have to stay far away from me. Youngoos to me, and I love like mongooses, but Youngoos to me is like what Zubat is to a lot of people. I think it just like seeing it pisses me off. It's, if you ignore its face, it's kind of cute just like as a rodent. Like rodents are amazing. Wait, it's not a rodent. Mongoose aren't rodents, right? For me, it's like they show up and they hiss at you. Like, what other Pokemon can you name that shows up and hisses at you? Especially in an early route, which is like comes up and it's like that's just terrible. So definitely stay far away from me. Like, you're not gonna hiss at me. And then obviously it evolves into like Gumshoes, which I'm not even gonna talk about. I could have put it on this list, but like we're not gonna talk about Gumshoes. Next up, and this might be a surprising one, maybe because this Pokemon is so forgettable. Next up is Bouffalant. I feel like it's supposed to be like French. Bouffalant. Now Bouffalant is just one of those, when I'm trying to think of like the Pokemon that I dislike, Bouffalant is like is another one of those Pokemon that's like dumb to me. The thing about Bouffalant though is I can't like, I think it will never be on my team. Actually, I think I'm gonna bump it up to I rescind my judgment, because like I said, I always feel like it's dumb. It's just like, okay, there's a bull with an afro, like that's what the Pokemon is. Why does it have an afro? It doesn't make sense. But when you read the description and everything, it's like to protect its head instead of just like the horn. But really the reason why I have to give it props is because, like, as someone who has an afro, I gotta support the representation. I support you. I rescind my judgment. Oh no, next up is, you're going immediately into the dungeon, I'm telling you right now. Gholdengo. Oh my god. I think Gholdengo is the Pokemon that I have probably complained about the most, like, once I saw it. Do you know why? Because roaming form Gimmighoul is one of my favorite Pokemon. So of course they make it evolve into this thing that looks nothing like it and actually looks like a mac and cheese mascot. I have a personal vendetta against Gholdengo. The one thing interesting about it is it's like a stack of coins. Like, I guess that's cool. I'm a greedy person. I love shiny gold coins. But it's also like a person. It's like wearing the like belt thing. It like hoverboards. It's like goofy, but not enough. It's not deep enough in the goofy territory to like, it's not fully committed to goofy. It's just like, oh my god, I hate it so much. That's a contender for You Are the Father. Next up is Seismitoad. Seismitoad is another one of those Pokemon that I thought of. I'm just like, oh, Seismitoad. But looking at it again, it's like not the worst. But I did look at the Bulbapedia description of Seismitoad, and it makes it worse. And I could have also included the other members of the evolution tree. I think the other ones are probably actually uglier than Seismitoad. It's just like weirder. But let me read this to you. The various lumps on its body have varying capabilities. The ones on its head can shoot a paralyzing liquid, while the ones on its hands can be vibrated to increase its punching power. It can also vibrate the lumps as a source of torment for its opponents, or use them to create earthquake-like tremors. Seismitoad is popular among the elderly, who use the lump's vibrations for massages. Now, look at that Pokemon. Look at that Pokemon with its... We now know that its various lumps have different capabilities, one of which is like shooting acid or whatever. And now picture this giant frog man, his lumps, his lovely lady lumps, being used to massage the elderly. If that doesn't dock a few points, I don't know what does. How far low does it go? I think stay far away from me. Like, look at that guy's his expression. Oh, like, imagine seeing that thing. So we only have a few left, and the next one is a big contender for being the father, Eternatus. Eternatus I have beef with. I hate Eternatus because it looks like it should not be in Pokemon, and also, like, it's kind of sad. Isn't Eternatus the first, like, you know, main legendary in a main series Pokemon game that isn't the cover legendary? How embarrassing is that, to be like the legendary that you have to fight at the end of the game? It's not even on the cover for the game. It's just like a bunch of polygons. It's a gigantic mess of polygons. You can like barely make out what it's supposed to look like. It's just like, and also what the plot around Eternatus is dumb. It's what is it, like, brings about the darkest day, and it's like creating energy that can be siphoned or something. I don't know, it's just like that felt like anticlimactic to me, and it just has no character because it's not designed to like have character. It's not even imposing. Like, it's a giant, it should be imposing, it should be scary. It's like gigantic and it's like kind of otherworldly, but it just looks like a mess of polygons. It looks like Hooktail from Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, but like significantly worse and like simpler. Next up is another contender for 1 Million Years Dungeon, but I don't know, I have to really think about this one. It is Buzzwole. I'm gonna put him in stay far away from me for now, for obvious reasons, but I have like heard from other people some amount of like generally positive sentiment for him. He does lose a lot of points for being a mosquito and also being filled with blood. I feel like if he had a mechanic where like he could be not filled with blood, or he's probably not filled with blood technically, it's like supposed to resemble a mosquito filled with blood because he's just, you know, from another dimension. But anyway, yeah, the big disgusting factor for me, I was actually complaining about like veins earlier. There's a similar kind of vein of like being swole, like he's like a swollen bug centaur man. That's kind of like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, the like reddish orange color is kind of nice. Orange is one of my favorite colors. And he does have a little bit of like a camp factor, like he almost looks a little like superhero-ish. I think he's barely going to escape the dungeon. And the last Pokemon I have is another one that's just disappointing. It's Squawkabilly. I don't think, it's definitely not stay far away from me. It doesn't like elicit an emotional reaction. It just, the only reaction that I get when I see Squawkabilly is like dude, really? This is the Pokemon that we're having in Gen 9, is just like this normal, it doesn't even evolve, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't evolve, it's just a normal flying bird that is named Squawkabilly because it has a little like pompadour. You gave a bird a pompadour and you named it Squawkabilly, and it just looks like that. I would dislike it more if not for like real life birds having, like a cockatoo has like a tuft of like feather like that looks like a pompadour. Like I get where you got the idea from, but you couldn't have added one more thing in there, or just like not make it look awful. I don't know if it's just me, but like the hair color not matching with the plumage, which just makes it look more like a person, is a terrible decision. Okay, I think this has helped me decide. The Pokemon in the 1 million years dungeon category definitely should be there. This looks very accurate to me. Watchog is like at the bottom of stay far away from me. Just looking at that thing makes me want to run away. This is a very close race. The only thing that's saving the Genie trio forms that are in that category is that they're like not standalone, you know what I mean? So they have a little like group going on, and they committed to that design idea and they just like ran with it. They gave them the horrible, hideous Therian forms. They did that. It's like it was a thought out decision. It's between Eternatus and Gholdengo. As much as they dropped the ball with Eternatus, Gholdengo, you are the father. Gholdengo, you are absolutely my least favorite Pokemon. I can't believe I collected so many Gimmighoul coins. Gimmighoul being one of my favorite Pokemon designs, the roaming form again. For that to result in, oh my god, this atrocity of Pokemon design. And this is my opinion. Fully disagree with me if that is your truth. But Gholdengo is just so doofy and disappointing. Eternatus at least makes like some amount of sense in like being a visual representation of like the energy or something. Maybe I need to read more about Eternatus too to appreciate it, because again, as a legendary, there's like more thought presumably behind that design. I just think it really doesn't fit as like a Pokemon legendary. But you know, they like to try new things with legendaries. Same thing with the Genie trio. They like to try different things with the legendaries and mythicals. With Gholdengo, that's another thing that they're trying. They were like, oh, it's the like 1000th Pokemon, we have to do this special thing where you get 1,000 coins, and it's like made of the 1,000 coins that you get. Like, sure, that's a cool idea, but that is just the worst. I hate it. I feel better. Now, if anyone asks me what my least favorite Pokemon, I can say Gholdengo. Thank you for helping me through this journey. I do want to make a video about my favorite Pokemon. Like this guy.